Hi, I'm Dr. David Purvis, and continuing the theme of many mental health problems for most people are unnecessary for Mental Health Awareness Week. Today I'm talking about anxiety, and it's quite interesting because anxiety and depression, which I'll be talking about tomorrow, kind of overlap. There's quite a lot of similarity in a sense. I was thinking of an example to illustrate that. So let's take a pencil. You can write with a pencil, you can draw with a pencil. You could use a pencil as an axle on a child's toy for wheels. I guess you could use a pencil if you had long hair to put your hair up. So a pencil is a pencil, but you can use it for many different things. And as you know, everything that happens in your life, everything you think, everything you do, everything you feel is programmed. It's a mental program that you run which creates that experience. And I guess mental programs can be used for many different things. As an example, we always strive to understand the meaning of our experiences. There is virtually nothing in your life that you don't understand. Doesn't mean that what you understand to be correct, but you have to understand the kind of experiences that you have. And with anxiety and depression, what happens is that occasionally we appraise, we kind of figure out something, but that figuring out is wrong. Now, we don't necessarily know it's wrong because, you know, we're always like trying to make sense of things, and sometimes we're just wrong. And in fairness, actually all prejudices, all really, really strong beliefs, all beliefs, for instance, which fly in the face of, in a sense, reality, these are, you know, let's call them maladaptive cognitive processes. So if you come to a wrong conclusion about something, what you do then and how you feel are also wrong because they're calibrated to that wrong belief, that wrong appraisal of something. Okay, so let's say you thought you were going to be criticized if you did a presentation. Okay, well that's let's say a mind reading, let's call it a wrong kind of idea, a wrong belief. Well, what are you going to do about that? It makes you feel threatened, so you have the option of not going and doing the presentation, right? So you have the opportunity to avoid it. But this then strengthens the belief that you are correct in avoiding it, and it kind of creates a loop, right? So I believe I will be criticized, so I don't do it. I believe I will get told off, so I avoid it. So it kind of creates a loop. And what happens is that you never really find an opportunity to dissuade yourself of this original belief. You never kind of have an opportunity to challenge it. And so it just continues to carry on, and it becomes an unhelpful brain program creating and maintaining anxiety, and it would do the same for depression. So when we think about the really fundamental core elements of anxiety, what we come up with is that everybody who is anxious does this. They make appraisals of situations which massively overestimate the potential threat and tend to catastrophize the outcome should that threat occur. That then makes you do stuff that's based on that fear interpretation. So in a sense, you might avoid thinking about it, you might avoid doing it, you might manage yourself, you might carry a water bottle. It's called a safety behavior. You might avoid caffeine. Again, a safety behavior. And then if you do that enough, what happens is that you start to want to avoid thinking about it. And so in a sense, we're kind of avoiding emotional experiences. We're avoiding the emotion associated with this thing. And those are basically three of the most fundamental elements of anxiety. We misinterpret the meaning of something. We then take actions based upon that misinterpretation. And also we really try to avoid feeling the emotions associated with this whole process. Now, if you do everything I've just described, you will be anxious. Okay. But not because you're actually under an external reality threat, but because you're in your internal reality, you have created a sort of a sequence, a feedback loop that makes you anxious. Well, here's the thing. Between 50 to 80% of people who get CBT therapy are no longer anxious. And anxiety is one of those problems that actually, once you're free of being anxious, you can stay without anxiety, without clinical anxiety for a long time. You know, the relapse rate is relatively low. So if you have cognitive behavior therapy, it straightens out how it helps you straighten out and recognize these maladaptive, unhelpful kind of appraisals. Therefore, you do some stuff that's different. Therefore, you feel different. You don't have to avoid it. So that's why I say that most mental health problems are unnecessary. If you actually do something about this mental program that you're running, which creates and maintains your anxiety, you can eradicate it. And I think that eradicating anxiety, and I'll be talking about depression tomorrow, eradicating anxiety is much better than managing it, because managing it is basically saying, I accept that I'm having anxiety and I'm just going to try to manage it so it doesn't upset my life too much. Okay, but that seems like settling for a really poor outcome, where with a little bit of effort you could have a really good outcome. So I hope you find this interesting. I really want to kind of push the idea that we're in COVID-19, we're in the pandemic, and things are going to be different. And I think one of the things that could really be different is that we could take ownership over our mental health. And instead of relying upon organizations and other people like therapists perhaps to manage our mental health, our situation, you could actually take ownership over it and actually help yourself out of these problems, which is entirely possible. If you want to help yourself out of anxiety, then check out Anxiety Wizard, which is this full self-help CBT program, and that will take you all the way out of anxiety, because it will challenge and change this unhelpful loop that gets set up. And that's what creates and that's what maintains your anxiety. Thanks for taking the time to watch and listen.